Comes to the styling for your element, we need to be think of each element as a box. Okay, so box have a some property, right? So box have a four side. I mean, a top, bottom, left, right. That already we discussed in the previous video, and we have some other properties like position of the top edge, and we have width and height. Since it's a two-dimensional, width and height only applicable, not a depth level. Okay, so you can think of from the two-dimensional box um, for each element. Okay, and when it comes to the position of element in the CSS style, we can handle with the four properties. Sorry, four properties of positions. This is static, relative, absolute, and fixed. Static means it will be a statically in some position. Relative means from that position, I mean from your parent container where it's supposed needs to be rendered, from there how much level it got positioned. So if you mention as a relative, the the other element will be take over where it needs to be rendered. So from the actual render, it will be take you to how much amount of relative to the parent container. Absolute means from your viewport, absolutely where it's supposed to render. So that will come along with the some top and left right property. Okay, fixed means it will be fixed. So there is nothing need to talk about move around somewhere else. It's a fixed one. Okay, it will be a sticky one. So I will show you an example how it will be look like. Let me go through the code first, then I will take you to the browser. Okay, position.html I have added here. Okay, so it's a bit longer, but that's fine. So here I have added some elements along with this class name, class static h2 peter div container. Then one horizontal ruler to segregating the above and below. Then for the position relative h2 peter then div element along with this class relative. Likewise the h2 to segregate. Then the position fixed h2p paragraph content then div container along with this class we have added a fixed class name. Then the horizontal ruler, then absolute is coming. For absolute we have a same h2 paragraph tag then div container. Below I have added some anchor tag that I want to take you to the another HTML, so that I have added this one. So all you are clear about this class name. So based on the class name, static, relative, fixed, and below absolute. Okay, based on that we have added a style above. So for a div.static, position static is the style we have applied on this container. So how it will be look like that I will take you to the in a few minutes, in a few seconds, not a minute. Okay, so here we have added a 3 pixel solid for all the div container below. So only thing changed this position of that particular div container. Okay, so static means it will be where it's supposed to render. It will be static. That's it. There is nothing about other property. But when it comes to the relative, right? Where it's supposed to render, from there how much amount it should be rendered. So how much amount that we have added as left 30 pixel. Okay, same like the below also. So below one is a fixed. Sorry, this is for the fixed one. Fixed one means it's a fixed, which means for bottom right position we have added. In that position, it will start the box. Box in the sense the element you can consider that top and left, right, bottom. So that all edges will be rendered from the position of 0, 0. So 0, 0 means it's a bottom right. So bottom here, right here. So from here it will be position with this div container. Okay. Then the relative, div position relative I have added. So div position relative above also I have added, but below we need to talk about the absolute, right? So for the absolute, if you want to render absolute, the above parent container should be a relative, only then the absolute will be make sense for you. Otherwise, it will be an we should have a different example, only then we will get it understandable. So for that, I have added a relative. So relative already we discussed above. So we have mentioned some amount of width and height. So this much only the overall parent container. TOS dot relative. This is what the parent. So this the parent container will occupy this much amount of height and width. Within that parent container, it's supposed to render some next level, but from there, since we have added a position property at absolute, how much top right? So top right. So it will be rendered from here within this parent container. So you will get it to clarify when you see the example in the browser. So let me switch to the browser now. Otherwise, it will be difficult for you to understand. Okay. So here I have added a position static, which means position statically it will be rendered. By default, it will be static only. Okay. If you are not applied also, see here in the inspect element, if you are not applied also, it will be rendered from there. But somewhere we need to take a control of the static position so that we have this static property style got applied. Okay. You can see this next one, position relative. Position relative means suppose this line needs to be rendered from here, but since we have added this position as a relative attribute, see here the position relative attribute, suppose needs to be rendered from there, we have added some left 30 pixel amount, so that it got moved from 30 pixel. If I remove this, it will be rendered like above static one. Okay, so this is what the idea of using this position static and relative. Let's see the fixed one. So position fixed, which means position will be rely on same, always stay in the same places. So what is the amount we have added in this? Let's pick this one and fix this one fixed. Okay, so where it got rendered? It got rendered bottom right. So here, since we added a position fixed, what amount we have added? Bottom 0, right 0. If I change this bottom from here to 10 pixel, I'll be able to see the difference. If I added 100 pixel, it will be take you to the above. So like that, this will be rendered. So let me revert it to position 0. When it comes to the right, if I added a 10 pixel, okay, let me go with the pixel. If I increase this one, it will be move on. So like that, you need to apply your how much amount of you need to render like this. So some sites you may check that some floating kind of button will be there, the chat icon. Chat icon always will be rendered in this position. So that will be an example for the position fixed. Okay. Then let's move on the absolute. Since I told you, right, to understand about the absolute, you need to have a relative position from the how much amount of absolute. So that will give you more idea about how to use this absolute element. So this box we have added a 400 and 200. If I remove this, okay, nothing will happen, or because this is position relative we have added, but there is no parent container, so that still remains same, but let it be. But when it comes to the inner part, this is absolute. Okay, if I remove this position, it's supposed to render next to the first line, but if I added this position relative, we need to mention where it's supposed to render. If I add a top, from here, how much amount of top it switched? 80 pixel. Okay, it's moved from here. The point is moved here. Then what we added next? Right 0. Right means it will be look from here. So from here start 0. So this box, it's start from here. So this is how this is got rendered. Okay, I hope you clear on this one. Let's move on to the sticky position. For the sticky position, I have added the link here. If I click this one, okay. So what we will have a more content. We have a scroll. When you scroll, depends on your scroll, the above one will take it to the out of the viewport. Okay, but if you add this div content as a sticky, since you added a position as a sticky and top 0, when you mention like that, see here, when you scroll down, what happened? The above, apart from the other div content and all, out of the viewport is gone, but this sticky div content only, since we added as a position stick, that remains the same. So it will be work only if you scroll down. Okay, until the scroll reach to the particular div content, it will be the remain space. And when you reach the position, see here, when you reach the position, it will be take it to the sticky. And the property here 10 0 pixel. When it comes to the 10 pixel, you can see the amount of space above, so that this is got rendered. Okay, see here. So this is the overall idea about how to use the position for your HTML element. So you just play around how to render that. So you need to figure out how to use this position. Okay, that's it, guys.